Well, that's it. 2 days of a virtual GFN. I'm sad it's over, but actually I'm also pretty glad it's over because we managed to do it. It was only back in March that we had to cancel plans for holding the event in Warsaw, and so we've only had a very short time to put this all together. It's been a tremendous success. People have joined us from over 70 countries. The number registered for the event far exceeded our expectations. This indicates a tremendous appetite for updating on safer nicotine products and tobacco harm reduction. And that is understandable. The last 12 months have been very difficult for tobacco harm reduction. Many US and US funded organizations have stirred up panics about young people, about flavors, and then about the outbreak of lung disease. In doing so, trying to blame all of vaping rather than the vaping of THC. There continues to be a lot of poorly conducted science, which is then spun with an anti-THR message. I was editor of a major international journal for 20 years, and I'm actually appalled by the poor quality of much of what passes for science in the field of smoking and tobacco control. We need to continue our work. The estimated 1.1 billion smokers globally deserve a better deal and better options. We need to hasten the demise of combustibles and encourage the switch to safer, non-combustible ways of using nicotine. Evidence from many countries now shows that the availability of suitable, safer products helps people to switch from smoking. Globally, progress is small, and those using safer nicotine products are still but a small fraction of those who smoke. We need to be patient. E-cigarettes have only been on the market for about 12 years and heated tobacco products for much shorter. Historically, changes in nicotine consumption have often taken a long time. For example, the last major disruptive technology in smoking was the invention of the cigarette rolling machine in the 1880s. And it took about another 50 years for the machine-rolled cigarette to replace other ways of using nicotine. But we can't wait 50 years. We know that safer nicotine products are just that. They are safer than getting nicotine by burning tobacco. We know that people want to use these products. We've proof of concept from many countries that tobacco harm reduction works. The obstacles are the rich foundations with a myopic view of tobacco control, which create divisions where none should exist, and international organizations likewise wedded to a narrow view of what can be done. There's too much fear and hatred in the field. There needs to be much more ambition, but also much more compassion. These organizations will, I think, rapidly find themselves on the wrong side of history. Tobacco harm reduction, in my view, is good public health, starting with the people who matter, smokers and those who've chosen safer alternatives. And it's good public health because it should be fostering and encouraging changes from the bottom up. It's people who do harm reduction, not the experts. It's time to free people to be able to choose safer alternatives. As Louise Ross put it so eloquently in her Michael Russell oration with respect to e-cigarettes, it's time to free the inner vapor in smokers. So, a few concluding comments. Our Polish team and our team in the UK have worked non-stop to create this virtual conference. A huge amount of work has gone on behind the scenes, and at times it's almost as if we've been working on a mini movie with many new techniques and skills to be used and ways of packaging it all together. It takes a lot of work. So I'd like to thank all those people who've worked to bring this to you. Of course, what we all miss is the face-to-face interaction, and although we've got chat and questions on the online platform, there's no substitute for meeting together. And we've been severely limited in the amount of time we could devote to questions and answers, mainly in terms of numbers of people, but also in terms of the time zones in which our presenters operate. We're already planning for next year. We've booked the conference venue in Warsaw, ever optimistic that the pandemic will then be on its way out. But we're also looking at how to bring this to you in maybe a mix of online and real conference. So quite what we're doing is still going to be a lot of discussion after the event. And just about now, you'll be receiving an email inviting you to fill in our feedback form. And that's going to be very important to us to hear from you about what you made of this online version and what you'd like from the event in the future. Having an online event has clearly opened up new possibilities because it brings tobacco harm reduction and safer nicotine products, brings discussions about those issues to many more people. But we've got to get a balance. So before you sign off, please take another look at this online screen. Bottom left, you'll see that little button where you can donate to ANASVAP. ANASVAP is the Spanish Vapors Organization. They deserve your support. If you haven't donated, please press that button and it takes you to a PayPal donation button. If you have donated, well, think of donating again. After all, GFN has been brought to you for free, and that's a nice way to say thank you. So, thank you for tuning in. I'm looking forward to meeting you online or in person next year at the Global Forum on Nicotine in 2021. Thank you and goodbye.